Good afternoon, viewers and listeners of Concerned Citizens Media. Uh, Thank you again for coming back. Uh, August 25, 2021. So I have some news to share with you and update on ongoing domestic war in Ethiopia. Thank you again. So the first one is the United Nations Security Council uh, uh, planning to have a secured meeting on the crisis in Ethiopia. I think tomorrow, Thursday. So they did before and end up without any concrete measure against the crisis in Ethiopia because of the Chinese and the Russian, uh, opposition, even to release strong statement on Ethiopia. So they are also now planning to have another secured meeting called by United States, UK, and other countries to to have this secured meeting. So what they're gonna produce, we don't know. Is China and Russia change their stand based on the reality in Ethiopia? We don't know. So uh, that is the plan now. They will have a secured uh, meeting, and we'll see if any public statement from this secured meeting. And the other one is the fighting uh, in Ethiopia still going on between TDF and the, in conjunction with AGO National Liberation Front on the north and Amara National Amara Special Force, the special force brought from all over Ethiopia, plus the Ethiopian National Defense Force is a huge force against TDF and other minorities. So heavy fighting, and some media also reporting like TDF is in Gashena, capturing that town, and heavy fighting around Waldia again because they want to recapture the Ethiopian forces. And the Amara National Force try to recapture some of the areas, some of the cities they lost in the past with a heavy armament, with a heavy military power, plus some rumors getting some drones from Turkey or semi-heavy weapons. So they are, you know, uh, fighting against a small force from TDF, the militias, the special forces, the Ethiopian defense forces. So it's a huge difference. And but so far they didn't get that much victory. You know, God is on TDF side and other fighter side. Uh, they say, you know, they are fighting for the survival of the country. The messaging difference, the messaging coming from Ethiopian central government is different. That the Amara militia leaders, local leaders, and those military generals in Amara region. So they are saying they are fighting for the survival of Amaras, for the dignity of Amaras. But the central government is about the survival of Ethiopia, to save Ethiopia from disintegration. So there is a big messaging difference, and this is a huge problem. because especially for those coming to aid the Amara side, Oromos, thousands and thousands of Oromos, Sidamas, Somalians, how they gonna fight this with Amaras? Because the messaging is only about the Amara survival. It's not about the democracy. It's not about the survival of the country. So there is a messaging different. The other thing is Oromo Liberation Front is also becoming a formidable force in Oromia, different regions, in Benishangul, Borana area, Walaga, even close to the capital city Addis Ababa. So they captured Negele Borana, which is a huge victory for OLF, and they are moving forward. They are organizing people. They are setting administration for the cities, towns, villages they captured. And I have also some leaked report after this, which says about the general assessment in Ethiopia. So I have that one. So the fighting is going on, and it's not taking break. The survival for federalists, for the true democracy in that country, and to remove the dictatorship in Ethiopia will continue until Abiy Ahmed and the Prosperity Party removed, because they are for one-party system. They are for unilateral system of government. They are not about democracy. They are not about freedom. They are not about, developing your own language, developing your own culture in that country. If Abiy is successful, he will be a danger for that country. That's why we have so many small groups, Sidama National Liberation Front, Benishangul, and Ager, and others are joining TDF, OLA, and others, and fighting for their survival. And Prosperity Party is a danger for that country. So that's also Eritrean forces still in western part of Tigray. That's an issue, and I have a news on that one. So that's the war update. Let's read some other news. The United States, European Union warn of influx of Eritrean troops in Ethiopia's Tigray. This is reported by Reuters news agency. The United States and the European Union are raising alarm over the recent development of troops from Eritrea to Ethiopia's Tigray region, where 9 months of war have killed thousands of people and sparked a worsening humanitarian crisis. Forces from Ethiopia's rebellious Tigray recaptured much of the territories in June, in a major setback for Ethiopia's government. But the new Eritrean deployments, which come months after Ethiopia said foreign troops were pulling out, raise the prospect of an escalation of fighting. The United States is concerned that large number of Eritrean defense forces have re-entered Ethiopia after withdrawing in June, U.S. Secretary of Antony Blinken said in a statement on Monday. Those remarks came as Treasury Department announced sanctions against a leading Eritrean official it accused of human rights abuses during the war in Tigray. Eritrea said the allegations are baseless. European Union diplomats, meanwhile, wrote in an internal memorandum on August 20 that Eritrea was sending reinforcements across the border into Tigray. The document, seen by Reuters, said Eritrean troops had deployed to the already heavily militarized and contested western part of Tigray and taken up defensive positions with tanks and artillery around the town of Abdi Goshu and Himera. So Eritreans, instead of uh, withdrawing its forces from Tigray, they are now redeploying and strengthening their position in Himera, Abdi Goshu, and other areas. So EU and the United States warn the Eritrean government and the Ethiopian government to withdraw these forces from the region. So this is a very serious problem, very alarming. You know, they didn't withdraw, uh, but Ethiopian government lied about this, told us Eritreans, you know, withdraw from Ethiopia, but they lie. They don't care about their lies, and United States, European Union, they just keep calling on them because there is no serious consequences. That's why they are playing game with international communities. They need strong threat. It's not about sanctioning, you know, individual higher military chiefs. No, this it makes a little bit sense, but it's not effective to deal with Eritrea and to deal with Abiy Ahmed of Ethiopia. They need stronger than that. They need strong penalties uh, if we want to make effective resolution in Ethiopia. And if we are, you know, want to see dialogue, reconciliation, or settlement for all these problems in that country. That country is full of problems. So you want to bring effective solution to this, you need to sanction the government very seriously and list multiple officials in you know to deal with. They have to feel it. If not, they want to continue the bloodshed regardless of how many people died. They don't care about your concern. They don't care about EU's concern. They don't care about US concern. They heard enough. They heard enough about these concerns. You know, they are waiting from UN, US, EU to show some action. They believe in force, these people. So I know they are losing ground, but they are still want to continue their agenda. Okay, that's thanks to Reuters for this reporting. Eritreans must come out from Tigray. Keep your democracy in Eritrea, please, for Eritreans people. We don't need your democracy, Eritrea. Isaias Afwerki, you declared your freedom in 1991. Keep your freedom over there. Don't bother Tigrayans. Don't bother Oromos. Don't bother others. Stay. Keep your freedom. Eritreans happy with you. That's okay with them. Just stay out of Ethiopia. Leave Ethiopia for Ethiopians. That's my message from Concerned Citizens Media. The other defeat for Abiy Ahmed administration is United Nations Security Council or UN agrees to withdraw Ethiopian troops from Abiy. Abiy, that's a statement. the United Nations will replace the Ethiopian force deployed in the Abyei area with troops from other countries contributing to UN peacekeeping operations, Sudan announced on Monday. Khartoum had asked the United Nations last April to withdraw the Ethiopian forces from the border town on the ground that Addis Ababa was no longer a neutral party. It is not conceivable to accept Ethiopian forces deployed in the strategic depth of Sudan while the Ethiopian troops are massing on the eastern borders of Sudan, said the Sudanese foreign minister on 6 April. On Monday, Sudanese foreign minister Mariam al-Sadiq held a virtual meeting with the United Nations Special Envoy for the Horn of Africa, Parafe Onaga Anua, with the participation of UN peacekeeping chief Jean-Pierre Lacroix and the head of the UN Department of Operation Support, Atul Khair. Some of the names are very hard to read. In a statement released after the meeting, the Foreign Ministry announced that the meeting discussed the situation in the Abyei area and the United Nations Interim Security Force for Abyei. It was agreed to withdraw the Ethiopian component from UN SFA during the next 3 months at the request of the Sudan, added the statement. Al-Mahdi welcomed the United Nations positive response and it is understanding of the Sudanese request to replace the Ethiopian forces. She further pledged to provide all the needed facilities for a smooth exit of the Ethiopian troops from the border region. Days before the independence of South Sudan, the United Nations Security Council authorized the deployment of a peacekeeping forces to the disputed Abyei area on 27 June 2011. Currently, there are over 3,500 Ethiopian troops deployed in the area. At the time, the ousted President Umar al-Bashir, who was a close ally to the late Ethiopian Prime Minister Meles Zenawi, had requested that this mission be exclusively formed by Ethiopian soldiers. So they will be now forced to leave the United Nations Security Peacekeeping Force. It's a very bad to Abiy Ahmed. Everything is bad about Abiy Ahmed. That is a major area for Ethiopia in the past, leading the UN peacekeeping force in Sudan, in Somalia, in other areas. So now they are losing that leverage, and it's also connected to some financial gain. So they're going to lose that financial gain too. Maybe they pay them how much dollar per each soldier. I don't have that information, but I know there is money to be made in that peacekeeping operation. So Ethiopia is losing that dollar because of this withdrawal. Also, you know, the dignity and the respect related with Ethiopia is playing major role in UN peacekeeping role. They are losing that one. So that's another major defeat for Abiy Ahmed policies. So credit for this one, Sudan Tribune. Okay, this is the last one. And the last one, but it's very important. very important news. This is European Union diplomatic cable, leaked diplomatic cable about the whole assessment in Ethiopia. This is done without the Ethiopian government knowing who is doing this. It's a major news. It's already, some media already reported on it, so I'm going to share with concerned citizens and media. And it had like 31 assessment points about Ethiopia, about Abiy Ahmed. It's all the situation. So I'm going to try to read it very quickly. If you want to go and print the report, you can also go to the Scoop. It says Scoop Media. So Scoop the World. You can Google it and you can print and keep it for historical reason. Very important for information. This is it's not easy to get this kind of assessment. This is done by the delegation of European Union, and they assessed oil, TDF, and other issues in Ethiopia and a neighboring country. Okay, leaked EU diplomatic cable, delegation of the European Union to Ethiopia. Subject, Ethiopia. Overview from August 14 to 20. Both sides remain convinced that a military victory is within reach. Both sides means Ethiopian side and opposition side, TDF, oil, and others. So, assessment. I told you it had from 1 to 31 point assessment. It's very good to read all very quickly. While fighting between TDF, TPLF, and ENDF, Amara force continue on several fronts. OLA managed to occupy large parts of the rural areas in Oromia, including gaining control over some important roads. It will require a lot of security resources from the government of Ethiopia, GO-E, to manage the geographical expansion of OLA territory and to try to regain control over the occupied areas. That is assessment 1. Second, some analysts are saying that Eritrea is preparing a counter-offensive from the north and from the west against TDF or TPLF in order to force the Tigrayans to withdraw troops from the current war theater in Amara. Other analysts point out that Eritrea might be preparing for a TPLF offensive into Eritrea, which is anticipated to start after the rainy season by the end of September. 3. The government of Ethiopia continue stressing that no negotiation with TDF will be possible unless the latter stops fighting and withdraw from Amara region. Both sides are convinced that they will be able to obtain a decisive military victory within the coming months, forcing the other side to make important concession in a possible future negotiation. Assessment 4. Government of Ethiopia did not loosen restriction on humanitarian access to Tigray, while continue pledged unfettered humanitarian access. The reality created on the ground is different, as experienced by the delegation while trying to obtain flight permission for the humanitarian aid bridge to Mekelle. Assessment 5. On the international scene, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed made a visit to Asmara on his way to Turkey, where he signed a military cooperation agreement. In all likelihood, the Prime Minister was discussing the procurement of drone technology, which in the eyes of the Ethiopian Prime Minister could hand a decisive military advantage to the Ethiopian National Defense Force. Unconfirmed reports of Turkish drone to be deployed in Ethiopia soon following the visit. Some media already reported some sign of cargo shipment. I also reported on this one last time. Assessment 6. During the week of August 14 to 20, fighting between TDF and ENDF, Ethiopian National Defense, Amara forces continue on at least 4 fronts in the Amara region. Debark, road from Tigray border to Gondar, Sekota, road from Tigray border to Lalibela, Debre Tabor, road from Waldia to Bahar Dar, and Winchale, road from Waldia to Dasim. Several claims and counterclaims were made about the occupation of towns, with the overall trend still indicating a further advance of TDF forces deeper into the Amara region. That's their assessment 6. Ethiopian National Defense Force, that assessment 7, launched a counter-offensive from afar into Tigray, launching attacks on the TDF-TPLF eastern flank. Fighting was reported near Chifra, Afar, and Mehoni, Tigray. Assessment 8. Over the past days, Deputy Prime Minister Demeko Mekonnen visited several places in Amara close to the front lines. He is the first member of the government known to visit areas with active fighting since the start of the conflict. Assessment 9. Several universities in Amara region have started organizing basic military training programs for their staff and students. This is troubling news. Very troubling news. University staffs and the students getting ready for war instead of being an educational institution, and instead of creating knowledge, advancing knowledge, they are used for this military operation. Oromo Liberation Army reported to have taken control of several rural areas in Oromia and Amara. Assessment 10. After the announcement of its alliance with TDF, more focus was put on the Oromo Liberation Army, while initial assessment showed some doubt on the OLA's numerical strengths and the military capacities. They have made some remarkable progress over the past weeks in controlling several rural areas and cutting important roads. In Western Oromia, Oromo Liberation Army controls several the rural areas of the 4 Wallagga zone, as well as the main roads around the town of Nakamte. In Southern Oromia, Oromo Liberation Army controls rural areas of the Guji zone and managed to establish checkpoints on the main road between Addis Ababa and the Kenya border. I also reported on this one. In the North Shore zone of Northern Oromia, Oromo Liberation Army took control of rural areas near the town of Kuyu and also briefly occupied the town itself. Assessment 11. In southeastern Amara, Oromo Liberation Army is reported to have occupied several rural districts near the town of Kamise on the main road from Addis Ababa toward Dese and Waldia. Oromo Liberation Army is also reported to have established itself around the gorge of the Blue Nile on the border between the Amara and Oromia regional state, and to have established a checkpoint on the main road between Addis Ababa and Bahar Dar near the bridge at Dejan. Assessment 12. While the Oromo Liberation Army clearly does not have the same level of organization, equipment, and military experience as the TDF-TPLF, the organization seems to be gaining support among the rural population in the large part of the Oromia region, as well as in the area of the Amara region with strong presence of ethnic Oromos. It was reported from some rural areas how Oromo Liberation Army enters village, calls village meeting in order to explain the objectives and policies to the local population, and afterwards just asks the Prosperity Party administrators and the security forces to live peacefully, which in some cases happened. Assessment 13. On August 17, one of the smaller opposition parties in the Afar region, the Afar National Democratic Party, announced that it will join the TDF coalition against the government of Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. It is reported that also smaller, relatively unknown movements such as the Benishangul Liberation Front and the Sidama Liberation Front have announced that they will join the TDF OLA alliance. One of the two factions in the Oromo Liberation Front, on the other hand, announced that it will continue to support Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. I don't know who is supporting. Eritrea sends reinforcement. Intentions are unclear. Assessment 14. Eritrea troops are occupying a strip of territories in northern Tigray, reaching from Adigrat to Shire and Bademe. Eritrean troops are also represented in western Tigray, where they have taken up defensive position with tanks and artillery around Adigosho and Humera, and possibly also the border with Sudan. Over the past days, it was reported that Eritrea has sent reinforcement to western Tigray. This could possibly have been done in order to replace Ethiopian National Defense Force and the Amara units that have been redeployed in the Amara region. So Eritreans in defense of Abiy Ahmed and sending reinforcement. Assessment 15. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed made a short visit to Eritrean capital Asmara on August 17. No more details as the visit was not publicized. No more food in Tigray. Humanitarian needs in other regions are growing. Assessment 16. Samantha Power, head of the U.S. Agency of International Development, issued a statement on August 19, highlighted that for the first time in 9 months of war, Ethiopia's Tigray region aid workers will this week run out of food to deliver to millions of people in the region who are facing hunger. USAID and its partners, as well as other humanitarian organizations, have depleted their stores of food items warehouse in Tigray. Assessment 17. In the meantime, Western Tigray, currently occupied by Amara, Eritrean, and Ethiopian National Defense Forces, remain inaccessible to humanitarian actors. 18. Due to active fighting, humanitarian needs in the Afar and Amara regions are increasingly fast. Exact numbers are hard to come by, but it is known that several 100,000 of people became over the past week. USAID made public its new allocation of humanitarian aid to the two regions. Assessment 19. The Telegraph newspaper on August 17 published a detailed account including satellite picture of TDF attacks on Amara civilians in several villages in the Kobo area between Alamata and Waldia that would have taken place during the first week of August. TDF published a statement on August 19 to deny this accusation and to call for an independent UN-led investigation. Assessment 20. The Agency for Civil Society Organization announced that it is investigating 11 local and international organizations for alleged fraudulent activities. No list of the civil society organizations under investigation was published. EU partners also reported that as Agency for Civil Society Organization has stopped the accreditation process for new organization, which might create a challenge for some EU partner organizations that were in process to finalize their official registration in Ethiopia. Continued repression of people of Tigray origin in Addis Ababa and other parts of the country. So the following are assessment on this one. Assessment 21. During the past days, police in Addis Ababa carried out a new round of arrests of Tigrayans living in the capital. Among those arrested was Hailu Kabada of the Salsai Wayane Party, a political party from Tigray opposed to the TPLF, who met with EU envoy Pekka Haavisto some months ago, as well as with EU EOM assessment team. Assessment number 22. On August 18, Human Rights Watch published a detailed account documenting the ethnic profiling, unlawful arrest, and forced disappearance of ethnic Tigrayans in the capital Addis Ababa. Assessment 23. Over the past week, there have been unconfirmed reports of attacks on ethnic Tigrayans in some towns of the Amara region. Reportedly, even people who only have a very remote connection with the Tigrayan region have also been targeted. Assessment number 24. On August 18, the embassies and the international organization based in Addis Ababa received a verbal note from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs asking them to provide a detailed list of all security staff employed to secure their premises or residence. Of particular concern, the the request to all embassies to provide details of the ethnicity of their security staff. Several EU MS have already indicated that they are not planning to provide the request information to the Ethiopian authorities. This will be coordinated in the next HOMS meeting on August 24. And this is a strange request, asking embassies and in these international organizations who they are hiring, who are their staff. Why Abiy Ahmed want to know this? Why? The ethnicity of people working for embassies and this is strange. What they want to do with it, this is for this listing, requesting this listing. Amara, Oromo, Tigray, Sidama, why they want to know this? I don't know. This is strange. I'm glad they are not cooperating with the Ethiopian government on this one. So, in one hand, they are talking about Ethiopia, about saving Ethiopia, but when you go to in detail, they want to attack. Maybe embassies for hiring Tigrayans or for hiring Oromos. Why the purpose of this request? So that's the assessment number 24. Second part, election possibility delayed. Assessment 25. It looks like increasingly unlikely that the second part of the election will take place on September 6. The latest rumors from the National Election Board of Ethiopia indicate a postponement probably to the end of September. Assessment number 26. One of the areas where the elections still have to take place is the Somali region. The Ogaden National Liberation Front, ONLF, expressed their frustration over the National Election Board's investigation into the complaint they filed together with other opposition parties regarding the voter registration process in Somalia region. ONLF published a statement saying that participating in the rigged election in the Somalia state will be meaningless. Not only in Somalia region, all areas rigged. In Oromia and Amara region, every other opposition parties are complaining, but who gonna resolve? You have the election just judges in Ethiopia independent of Abiy Ahmed? No. I reported on that one. Everyone is hired by Abiy Ahmed, whether the federal police, the judges, the election officials. So there is no independent investigation. There is no independent justice system in Ethiopia, as long as Abiy Ahmed in control of that country. So they are waiting to make sure Prosperity Party representative win in Somalia. They are waiting. There is no other reasons why they postpone. No other reasons. They are facilitating, looking ways so that to make sure PP win. If that one is not sure, they will postpone it. And they did in other areas. After they make sure PP win, they will run the election. Then after that, anybody can complain and no resolution for any complaints. Okay, that's assessment number 26. Okay, few left. Unconfirmed reports indicate that protests took place last week in western Gambela region against the ruling Prosperity Party over the general call for mobilization that was launched by the government last week. Each region is apparently expected to send a certain numbers of recruits to the front in the northern Ethiopia. So there is opposition protest, but we didn't hear about it because the media, they don't report on it. But this assessment team find out this. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed visits Ankara and signed a military cooperation agreement with Turkey. Assessment 28. On the invitation of the Turkish President Erdogan, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed made an official visit to Turkey on August 17 to 18. On the occasion of the visit, Ethiopia and Turkey announced the signature of diplomatic, social, and economic agreement, as well as cooperation agreement on water development and military cooperation. President Erdogan also stated that he attached great importance to the resolution of the Tigray crisis and offered to mediate on the border dispute between Ethiopia and Sudan. Assessment 29. It is presumed that Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed asked Turkish support to obtain military technology, especially drones. Drones technology played a big role in the first phase of the conflict in November 2020, when TDF was pushed back to remote mountains area of Tigray. The Ethiopian Prime Minister afterwards talked to enthusiastically about his drone technology in Ethiopia Parliament and seems convinced that it could alter the course of the war once again. According to the analyst, the Ethiopian Prime Minister would more specifically be interested in obtaining Turkish Bayraktar TB2 and Ankas S drones. So that was the intention. Because in the past, at the beginning of the war with TDF, he used UAE drones. But thanks to the United States, UAE withdrew its support. Instead, UAE sent humanitarian aid to Tigray. That's a big difference. Now, the financial support, the drone support from UAE, United Arab Emirates, stopped thanks to the Biden's diplomatic mission and the African Special Envoy repeated visit to that area, and they drain that support. Now he's looking for another country, Turkey and other. I hope Turkey will not participate in this civil war and this genocide. I hope they will stop. I hope, if they want to have better relationship with Ethiopians at large, not with Abiy Ahmed. Abiy Ahmed is a failed state. It's a matter of times before he coming down. So the two more assessment. It was reported last week that the Ethiopian authorities transferred the management of 6 on 11 Turkish schools in Ethiopia, which used to be run by the Gulen movement, to the pro-government Turkish Marif Foundation. This is also, to get the weapons, to get the drones. They took the organization, which was founded by anti-Erdogan, anti-Turkish organization. They took out that ownership and they put it into pro-Turkish government organization. This is also, diplomatic to get anything for his power. Abiy Ahmed will do anything to stay in power, So this is still controversial, as some of the schools were actually lawfully owned by German private education companies. So German owns this, and German might sue or might take revenge against Abiy Ahmed for doing this, for transferring uh, schools into pro-Erdogan, Turkish president organization. So it will create legal battle or may create some political backlash between Abiy Ahmed and German government. But he did already. So I say, he will do anything to get the drones, tanks, and others, so he can be, victorious against OLF, against TDF, and others. He will do anything for his power, not for the power of Ethiopians. Okay, the last one. Ethiopia state media continue to broadcast programs with anti-Western targeting specifically the United States and the European Union. I said Abiy Ahmed, I said in the past, Abiy Ahmed is waging the war against the United States. Abiy Ahmed is waging the war against the European Union and other Western countries. I reported in the past. This leaked memo, this leaked report or assessment is confirming that attitude. So that's why I said the United States, European Union, and others must seriously follow Abiy Ahmed, must investigate what he's doing, must watch very carefully what he's bringing in from Turkish or from Iran or from Azerbaijan or other countries into Ethiopia. This guy, Abiy Ahmed, will do anything. He don't care about the bloodshed. He will continue the bloodbath in that country for the sake of his seat, not for the sake of the stability of Ethiopia. And the Amara generals, they are doing everything for that purpose. They will organize Ethiopians. They will force Ethiopians to contribute for this endless war. So, thanks to the EU delegations leaked memo, it's a lot of information. If you can, just print it and keep it for your record. And this is mostly we know this from different news, but this is in person confirming investigation in Ethiopia. They did it without the government knowing it, and they leaked this assessment to the media. That is the actual situation in Ethiopia. What is happening? What are the intention of Abiy Ahmed? What are the intention of Amaras? So that is the report. Thank you again. I know it's a long list of assessment, so I will keep it for record and I will share it with you. I shared it with you whatever I see on the media, so we can share what is the update. What is the update about Ethiopia? What European Union? What are the US doing? All this. So we'll follow it. I know the war is still tense, still going on, and as the report says, both sides will not slow down, especially the ones have more resources. That's the central government. If Ethiopia is interested to settle this through dialogue, reconciliation, The other side, I'm sure, might be okay. But Abiy Ahmed, the Amaras think they can win this war through massive recruitment, through forcing people to contribute financially and other things. They think they can win it. And so far, they are not winning. Maybe they are capturing some, but they are not. The war is going on. The war is heavy, and OLF is very close to knock the door at the prime minister very soon. He is capturing small towns, villages. Now he is even capturing big cities like Nagelle Borana. They are moving faster, and we'll report to you. That is the update I have for today. Thank you guys for coming back. Thank you again for sharing, commenting, liking my videos. So concerned citizens will be the voice for the voiceless. Thank you again. So long, everyone.